Every legend has a price, paid in blood, sacrifice, and at times, in forgetting. For Theseus, the great unifier hero of Athens, the road to an immortal name would pass through the darkness of labyrinths and the hearts of monsters, leading him to glory and to a throne he won justly, only to have it torn from him by ingratitude. This is the saga of a man born of the union between mortal royalty and divine power, a hero destined to build a city's future and to face his tragic fate. Prepare yourself to hear the full story of one of the greatest heroes of Greek mythology. This is the saga of Theseus, the great Athenian hero. In the marble halls of the Athenian palace, where the Attic sun bathed everything in gold, Aegeus reigned. His city flourished, the markets swarmed with life, and the olive trees prospered under the watchful eye of the goddess Athena. Yet a shadow stretched across the king's heart. Though Aegeus had taken several wives over the years, he had no heir. Each sunrise brought the same anguish, worry for the future of his throne, and the deep desire for a son to call his own. The laughter of children in the streets of Athens was, to him, a painful melody that only heightened the emptiness in his palace and in his soul. Consumed by his affliction, Aegeus decided that earthly solutions were exhausted. It was time to seek counsel at the navel of the world, the place where the divine touched the mortal, the Oracle of Delphi. The journey became a pilgrimage of hope. He crossed fields and mountains, feeling the weight of his kingdom's expectations on his shoulders. Upon reaching Apollo's sanctuary, nestled on the slope of Mount Parnassus, the air seemed thin, heavy with centuries of prophecies and prayers. He entered the sacred temple, where incense smoke curled upward in spirals, carrying mortals' supplications. There, before the Pythia, the priestess who served as a channel for the voice of the god Apollo, Aegeus laid out his question with a heavy heart.
"What must I do, O great Apollo, so that my blood continues to rule Athens? How can I beget an heir to my throne?"
Shrouded in vapors rising from a fissure in the earth, the Pythia fell into a trance. When her voice finally sounded, it was not her own. It was ethereal and unsettling, delivering a riddle. "Do not loosen the prominent mouth of the wineskin, O great leader of the people, before you have reached the summit of Athens." The words hung in the air, dense and impenetrable. Aegeus furrowed his brow, trying to draw meaning from the metaphor. A wineskin? The summit of Athens? To him, the oracle had spoken in riddles, offering a stone when he had sought bread. Disillusioned and more confused than ever, the king of Athens began his long journey home. The weight of failure added to his long-standing sorrow. On the way back, the route led him through the kingdom of Troezen. There reigned Pittheus, a man whose wisdom was as legendary as his long friendship with Aegeus. Seeking the solace of an old friend, the Athenian king asked for lodging in his palace. That night, under a starry sky, the two kings spoke. Aegeus, his voice choked with frustration, confessed his pain and repeated the strange prophecy he had received at Delphi. Where Aegeus saw only mystery, the astute Pittheus saw clarity. His keen mind unraveled the riddle at once. The wineskin was a metaphor for Aegeus himself, and loosening its mouth meant sleeping with a woman. The prophecy was both warning and promise. The first intimate union he had before returning to Athens would result in the conception of a great hero. A golden opportunity presented itself, and Pittheus did not hesitate. He arranged a sumptuous banquet with music, dancing, and above all, wine of the finest vintage. Under the pretext of celebrating his friend's visit, Pittheus made sure Aegeus's cup was never empty. As the night wore on, the king of Athens, already vulnerable from his grief, was gradually overcome by drink. Then Pittheus presented him with his daughter, the princess Aethra. Beautiful as the first light of dawn and with the grace of a goddess, she captivated the king's clouded gaze. Intoxicated by alcohol, and inflamed with lust at the sight of such beauty, Aegeus forgot his anguish and surrendered himself body and soul to the passion of the moment. That very fated night, while Aegeus slept a heavy sleep, Aethra was visited in her dreams. It was not a specter, but the imposing, serene figure of the goddess Athena, patron of her lover's city. The goddess spoke to the princess in a voice that was at once commanding and comforting, instructing her to go to the shore and perform a rite of offering to the gods. According to the vision, this sacred act would ensure that the child conceived that night would be blessed with a grand destiny. Obeying the divine order, Aethra rose and walked under the moonlight to the coast. The sand was cold beneath her feet, and the sound of waves breaking on the shore seemed like an ancient song. She stepped into the salt water, feeling the immensity of the sea around her, and there she poured her libation. To her surprise, the waters before her began to stir, not violently, but with a powerful, controlled energy. From the depths emerged a majestic figure, Poseidon, lord of the seas, his trident gleaming in the moonlight, and his eyes holding the force of all the oceans. Aethra fell back, awed and terrified before such magnificence. The god approached, his presence radiating primordial power. He gently placed his hand upon the princess's belly, and his voice resounded like distant thunder over the sea.
The child growing within you will attain glories to rival those of the greatest sons of Zeus. His name will be sung for generations.
In that moment, beneath the stars, the god joined with the princess. Thus fate was sealed. The son to be born from Aethra's womb would be a fusion of mortal and divine, heir to Aegeus' throne, and bearer of Poseidon's indomitable strength. The next morning, the sunlight found Aegeus sober, but with new hope. Aethra told him of her encounter with the divinity, prudently omitting the details of her own union with Poseidon, and spoke of the divine blessing upon the child that would result from that night. Aegeus was heartened, yet his joy was quickly tempered by fear. In Athens, his nephews, the Pallantids, coveted his throne and would not hesitate to eliminate any heir who appeared. Moved by prudence, Aegeus led Aethra to a secluded place where there lay a colossal stone.
If our union produces a boy, you must reveal to no one the identity of his father. Raise him here in Troezen, in safety. When he has the age and strength to move this stone, and only then, you must send him to me in Athens. With tremendous effort, he heaved up the heavy rock and placed two objects in the hollow beneath: his royal sandals and his bronze sword. Months later, a boy of remarkable beauty and vigor was born. Aethra named him Theseus. He was raised under the tutelage of his wise grandfather Pittheus, who taught him the arts of war, philosophy, and governance, shaping not only his body, but also his character into that of a true hero. One day, when Theseus was still a boy, a living legend visited the palace of Troezen, the great Hercules. On hearing of his famous cousin's arrival, little Theseus and his friends ran to catch a glimpse of the hero. In the great hall, Hercules had tossed over a chair his famous mantle, the skin of the Nemean lion. To the other children, the sight of that head with bared fangs and glassy eyes was that of a real terrifying beast, and they fled screaming. But Theseus felt no fear. In his eyes, it was a threat to his home. With a boldness that shocked everyone, he snatched a sword from a palace guard's scabbard, and with a child's war cry, charged and struck at the beast. Seeing this, Hercules let out a laugh that made the beams of the hall tremble. In the boy he saw not naivete, but a spark of the heroic fire he himself possessed. Placing a heavy hand on the boy's head, he declared, "With a heart like this, Pittheus' grandson is destined to have his name engraved among the stars."
From that day on, friendship and mutual respect between the future heroes took root. The years passed, and Theseus became a youth of unmatched strength and resolve. Upon turning 16, He felt the moment he had awaited all his life had arrived. He went to the great stone that had marked his childhood with a quiet mystery. Before his mother, he took his stance, flexed muscles forged by years of training, and grasped the rock. With a grunt of effort that echoed across the fields, he lifted the stone, revealing the sword and sandals lying hidden, untouched by time. He put on the sandals, which fit perfectly, and took up the sword, feeling the weapon's balance as an extension of his own arm. Turning to his mother, eyes shining with purpose, he declared, "Mother, the time has come. I will depart for Athens, and for my destiny." His grandfather Pittheus, proud yet concerned, offered him a swift, safe ship to carry him by sea to the port of Piraeus. But Theseus firmly refused the offer. His gaze turned to the winding road leading north, a route rife with bandits, monsters, and dangers. What honor would there be in arriving at my father's house as a precious cargo by ship, with no dust on my sandals or blood on my blade? No, grandfather. I will forge my reputation along the way. I will reach Athens not as a lost prince, but as a new hero for those lands. And so, spurning the safety of the sea, Theseus sheathed his father's sword, bid farewell to his family, and took the perilous road by land, striding firmly to meet his fate.